jërë ngeen jëf mbokk yi ñu ngi leen di nuyu beneen yoon fii ci Africa TV. It's Tuesday the 22nd of September 2020 beneen edition Good Morning Africa comme ni ñu koy defee saa su ne bu waxtu bi jotee ñu am mbégte ñu ngi leen di nuyu di leen wax thank you very much wherever you might be watching around the world. We happily back again to bring you another edition where we still bring you all the latest happenings within and around the Gambian circles, of course, and beyond. We'll talk about our latest news development, of course, current affairs and all that. su ko defee comme ni nga koy defee saa su ne nañ leen diktal li nga xamante ne mooy xibaar yi ak yu mel noonu incha allah ñu ngi leen wax jërë ngeen jëf ci ànd bi ngeen di ànd ak ñun saa su ne waaye tamit ci safo bi ak kóolute bi ñu gërëm bu baax ñuy jàpp ci liggéey bi yëpp tamit ba lépp muy yomb su ko defee tey nañ ñëw waxtaan li nga xamante ne mooy lu bari ci li nga xamante ne mooy ci xew-xew ci biir réew mi waaye tamit xew-xew jamono comme ni ñu koy defee saa su ne su ko defee ci noonu la ñoo dal di ñëw rek indil leen xibaar yi incha allah loolu na ci bokk nañ wax ci li xew ci jamono ji yëngal réew mi xam ngeen ne démba waxoon nañ ci waaye nañ ci dellusiwaat mooy yëfi National Assembly bi sitin si wala boog li nga xamante ne mooy debate bi gaa ngi ci kawam démba safoon na sabt te xam naa tey boo etul tey mooy raw réaction si tamit am na solo Gambien si ñëpp di bàyyi xel ñu nekk ci biir réew ak ci biti réew loolu tamit nañ ko waxtaanee tey ci jotaay jile nañ dem tamit ba Mali wax ci seen political situation bi xam ngeen ne boobu tamit ñëpp ñu ngi ci doon bàyyi xel adduna bi yëpp ñu ngi doon xool ci li nga xamante ne mooy ci transition bu doon dem ci biir réew mi gannaaw bu ñu defee waxtaan yu bëri loolu tamit nañ ci am na development bu bees bu ci am mooy ay development of course nañ ci ñëw ñu waxtaanee ko waaye laataa ñu see yegg si ñu bàyyi Julde Njie Soirée tey moom la ñoo bokkal jotaay ji di ko nuyu di ko wax good morning Julde and thank you very much ñu bàyyi la ngan yooyu ñi nga xamante ñoom ñooy seetaan right now.
waaw Amadou good morning jërëjëf naka suba si di nuyu tamit ñoo xam ne ñoo faral di àndal ñun saa su ne rek si Good Morning Africa programme di wax ne amaan mbégte lool nag delluwaat fii tey si beneen edition of the Good Morning Africa programme di nuyu ni fu waay munti nekka rek si biir réew mi ak si bitim réew comme Amadou lu mu ko waxee rek dañoo start some studio stories from then the newspaper review, which will be done by myself. So stay tuned. It's going to be very interesting. National Assembly sitting, it's going on the draft constitution, the debate, and all that. And Gambians have been reacting to it from all walks of life. So I am sure Amadou will bring you details of those things in later, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We are just kicking with that, Julde. We start with that because it was a long day. Yesterday, Monday, Gambians were keenly following events happening at the National Assembly, the proceedings, and all that. And by extension, of course, the foreign missions also, issued a communique. Yesterday, almost, later in the day, and of course, urging the National Assembly to pass on the draft constitution bill. We are starting our program with that because following the joint communique by the European Union delegation and the diplomatic units of the United States, the UK and Germany in the Gambia regarding the country's draft constitution, citizens have taken to iAfrica platforms describing it mainly as a Western interference. The EU, US, UK and Germany on Monday urged Gambian National Assembly members to vote the draft bill on the revised constitution to progress to the final stages of the parliamentary scrutiny. Now, the communique came on the heel of debate on the general merits and the principles of the constitution promulgation bill following the reading by the Minister of Justice before the lawmakers in Banjul. Now, the bill seeks to pedal the Gambia to a third republic by replacing the 1997 constitution, which contains several draconian provisions. Now, Gambians have been divided over what appears to be slow motion of a process before lawmakers and the National Assembly members are to continue their debate on the draft constitution today after a prolonged session on Monday. Well, of course, it was a prolonged one, and by Julde, it was a very long day like I said mu ngi noonu démba gis nañ yëf yi nu mu demee ci depuis suba ñëpp ñu ngi xool debate bi mu ñu gis tamit yi nga xamante ne mooy taxawaayu lawmakers si mooy parliamentarians si ku ne di wax sa gis-gis ak sa xalaat li nga gisee draft bi ñu bari jàpp ne sides am na division am na si taxawaay bi ñu jàpp ne tamit du yomb démba te foog naa noonu lañ ko gisee waaye bu dee of course démba ci ngoon around 5-6 ñu gis ne of course foreign mission si ñu dal di génne joint communiqué di ñaax député yi pour ñu dal di support li nga xamante mooy draft bi Gambien si nag gis ne ñu bari react nañ ci loolu social media bi dem ci Africa platform bi wane ñoom seen gis-gis ak seen xalaat ñu ne ñu jàpp ne interference ak ñu mel noonu sa jàngat xam naa yenn comments yi ne nañ ko indi ci kanam tuuti waaw.
waaw Amadou am na solo trop fu mu nekk nii moom National Assembly bi since last week gars yi dañ doon debate the draft constitution and as a result ñi from all walks of life have been debating on it and of course majority of them calling on the National Assembly members pour ñu endorse li mu nekk draft constitution bi that will usher us into the third republic mu nekk loo xam ne daal dafa am solo torop in the history of the Gambia. Yesterday nag interesting debates lañ nekk di amoon at the National Assembly from divergent views and others National Assembly members will tell you ne dama dem suma constituency bi and I spoke with them and this is their decision, this is what they have said and all that. So whether that is the case or not, that is left to the MPs and the people to decide.
Absolutely.
Why from Nekani, what is obvious is that people are not taking things lightly, and this the reaction from Gambians has been really huge, especially on the foreign interference, like they call it. Now, Gambia is a sovereign state, and then they will not allow other people to dictate what they are doing. But there are others also who are also.
Yeah, exactly. And before we continue, it will be very interesting to have those comments now, which you have with you. You can read some of their comments immediately after the communique or the statement was, published on the Africa platform, social media platform, and Gambians really. Reacted to that. So you can give us or read out some of the comments, and then we can hear what they think about the statement.
Interesting comments there. The first one we are starting with is Yusufa Gassama. Mom nag dafa binda suñ Facebook page bi the comment on the joint communique by the international community. Te mom lum nekk di wax mu ne we don't need any foreign interference. This is our constitution. It has nothing to do with the West. Besides, Gambia is a sovereign state. Europe and America has a lot of domestic issues to solve. Let them focus on that and leave us alone. Mu nekk loo xam ne daal dafa interesting torop. Another one here, of course, ku nekk Salasi Child, of course, mom tamit dafa reply to Yusufa Gassama. Mom mu ngi wax ne when you were in a dire need, they came to save you. Never reject their help. But today you can say sovereign state. What is wrong with some of us? Lu mu nekk loo xam ne daal is a reply to Yusufa Gassama. Lolu mu nekk a very interesting conversation. Yusufa Gassama again replying to Salasi Child. Mu ne my point is clear. We are sovereign state. We can't be dictated on what to do about our constitution by foreign government. This has nothing to do with help they offer. Another issue. Let's move on to another comment because comments si moom ñu ngi bari fu mu nekk ni ñu xool kan moo nekk suñ second one. Alaji Fati, of course. Alaji Fati is saying Barrow wants to continue playing games with Gambians lives, but the international community is watching, and from this people he gets the money that he spent on this constitution. So let's see what happens. Ignorant will see what they want, but Barrow knows now he can't escape.
Okay. Let's take one more for now. I know we have
a bunch of them on this issue.
Yes,
Lalo Jete.
Okay.
Let's move with Lalo Jete and see what Lalo has to say. Lalo is saying a sovereign state, but your food, clothes, housing, etc. is being provided by the taxpayers of the Western powers. A country that cannot do anything for herself without begging these very powers. I don't want such a sovereignty.
All right. Yeah, we'll bring more comments on this matter, on this issue, Julde. But looking at even the comments, you can see the divisions. Guy dañ ute gis-gis. Even ñoom ñeneen am nañu ko gisee as interference. Others say no. They have to say something because they are providing support.
Exactly.
And all that they have an interest in how we should move our country forward. But even at the National Assembly level, you can see that have really, in a way, I would call it angered some of the MPs when they heard that, or got that communique saying, they cannot be dictated on, on what they would say or do. They have to whatever, support or whatever decision they would do based on their consent. So
exactly.
You can see these things different from let's say
that really
different direction in all
angered
angles.
some MPs really pretty much yesterday. Ñu bari ñu doon wax ne daal, you know what, this is our country, they cannot interfere with our sovereignty and they cannot intimidate us. Mu ne the EU, US, UK lu nekk di def, it's to intimidate them to do what they are not to do, but ñoom ñu ngi wax ne they are there for the interests of the people, and as such they will vote based on their conscience, not dictated by anyone. Ak du loolu rek saade National Assembly members, quite a lot of them were especially those who are against the draft constitution. Ñoom ñu ngi wax ne they are receiving calls from a cross section of the society urging them to say yes to that draft constitution. Mu nekk loo xam ne daal ñoom ñu ngi believe ne National Assembly bi dañ leen war a bàyyi ñoom ñu def seen liggéey fekk kenn du interfere. Waaye what is interesting here, Amadou, is that National Assembly and the people, you are not there for yourself, you are there to represent people. So what is important is if those same people are talking on other platforms, social media, because you got social media, but I think the social media they contribute a lot in the Gambia. They got ñu bari some mun na am dañoo am some reservations on social media, but we can also acknowledge a lot of successes have been registered on social media, and these are the platforms where the politicians will be able to know the concerns of their electorates most of the times. Mu nekk loo xam ne daal dafa am solo torop. Xam naa ne daal fu mu nekk ni lu gën a am solo fu ma conclude moo nekk ne Gambia should put Gambia first and the interests of the country first, not the individual interests. But soko gisee lum nekk di demee, it's like certain section of the National Assembly against another section.
There's division
it's
already.
Like division already. Like so xoolee nit ki sax su moo ñëw most of the times ñi dañ laa wax ne I know where he is going to vote for, whether in or against, based on the party the person is from. So foog naa ne fu mu nekk nii daal loolu dafa war a jeex su suñ politics.
Very well. And I know, like I said, it was a very interesting day yesterday, and probably today it will be much more interesting. And I know people will be looking, because we'll have the rest of the members who would of course give their position on the draft, and then the Minister of Justice is expected to respond some of the queries and concerns some of them have raised or would want to be clarified. And now, Julie, let's have a few more comments if there's any. I think we have more. And then before we finally move on, because Gambians really reacted widely on this, communique from the foreign missions, trying to urge or persuade the National Assembly members to really support the draft constitution to the next level. And we have seen different views and whatever with regards to that. So we will have a few more reactions and then we'll move on.
Exactly. This one is Ibrahim Akinte. Mom tamid dafa share own version of it. Mom mu ngi reply to Omar Diouf. Mu ngi Omar Diouf, see, we all understand that we are a sovereign state, but we can't have our cake and eat it at the same time. They are our development partners, and it's understandable for me that they give us a friendly advice on these all important component of our transitional program. It's shameful that the transitional program is risking to a failed ending, and since they were consulted at the beginning is seeking the funds. Mu nekk loo xam ne another one of course koo xam ne moom tamit dafa Ibrahima Jara again. Ibrahima Jara moom lum nekk di wax moo nekk ne they have nothing to do with our parliament or constitution. Let them look into their own problems. This is a national issue, so we can solve it ourselves. That is what Ibrahima Jara is saying. We move on to finally, yeah. We move on to to another issue, because lii moom fu mu nekk ni ku nekk mu ngi wax own issue ante ku nekk am na foofu noonu lu mu nekk di wax. We move on to Omar Touré. Omar Touré is saying Gambia being a so sovereign state under my foot, a state that can't do anything positive without the interference of the West, who are giving millions of dollars or euros to develop the country, which was appreciated by the country at large. Now in this draft constitution, if they urge the MPs, who the hell are you to exclude them from indicating their stance?
Anyway, those are some of the comments.
Yeah.
Quite a
from our Facebook page. Finally, Amadou. Waaw balaa ñoo dem rek xam nga dafa comments yi dañ bari, they are loaded. Sometimes like you're confused as to which one to take and which one not to take, but let's go with this. Finally,
it's a Gambian thing. So,
it's a Gambian thing. Everyone is concerned. Let's go with the Derek Homeboy, and Derek Homeboy is saying, if we are hoping and always begging them for donors, obviously they have a voice to make sure we have a law that suits the nation. Their joint statement urging the National Assembly to vote in the draft constitution is welcome and appreciated.
All right, so those are the very comments, and we have, let's say, we have a lot more comments, but we cannot bring all because of time, and but we do appreciate taking your time to comment on this matter. It's a very, very interesting moment and time for Gambian politics, and of course for the country as well. Since yesterday in the morning, you can see, or should I say, well before
that. I mean, since last week.
Exactly. Gambians have been urging National Assembly members to do this and do that. But yesterday, really, we have seen different positions and some very interesting, interventions and deliberation from the National Assembly. So we await today what's going to be the position again on some of the other members, and of course what response is the Justice Minister is going to offer to them, whether that will be convinced enough to all of them probably to agree that if
some of them are actually sitting on the fence,
because others
had the response and others the concerns that they raised. If those concerns are addressed by the Justice Minister, they would probably
they might give it a chance. So that's it, and we all look forward to their sittings as well, which I think is expected to start by 11 o'clock, is what the chief, of course the speaker, I should say, of the National Assembly said is anything to go by. Sessions are expected to begin by 11 a.m. local time, and we all look forward to that. Now we'll move on, slide away, of course, from Gambian politics, and we move to Mali. And talk about political matters also in Mali, because it has been a long-standing issue also in that country. Now, despite massive pressure from ECOWAS to return the country to civilian rule, Mali's junta has appointed a former colonel and defense minister, Badaoud, as interim president, and coup leader, Simi Goita, as his deputy. West African leaders and had demanded a civilian interim president, but told the junta they could tolerate a soldier as vice president after last month's coup that removed President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta. On Monday, Mali's junta announced former defense minister Badaoud, who oversee an 18-month transition before new elections are held and the country's return to civilian rule. Now, Daoud, and of course, was once a close aide to Mali's ex-dictator Moussa Traore, who died last week at the age of 83. The retired colonel had also served as a defense minister under President Keita. The junta said they intend to inaugurate its transitional government on Friday. Now, faced with an insurgency since 2012, Mali was rocked by months of protests against President Keita, leading to his overthrow in August. But divisions between the opposition in the weeks following the coup led to tense discussions for forming a transition government. The main point of opposition was who should take the top two positions. The junta wanted two military leaders as president and vice president, but the opposition coalition M5 movement wanted civilians to occupy the top two political offices. ECOWAS, which had demanded Mali immediately appoint a civilian as president, placed sanctions on Mali and shut its borders to the land blocked or locked nation. The sub-regional economic bloc had threatened more sanctions if civilians were not president and vice president. ECOWAS did not immediately comment following the junta's announcement on Monday. So that's the latest development coming from Bamako, Mali, the West African nation's political, of course, situation, of course, developing by the day, or should I say by as things are unfolding in the country. Finally, a former defense minister has been appointed as the transitional president. Julde bu nekk li nga xamantene mo ñepp ñu ko doon bàyyi xel, waaye nag of course ECOWAS ak the M5 movement ñoom ñu ngi doon demand for a civilian role pour mu jiite li nga xamantene mooy transition bi for 18-month period bi nga xamantene nangutoo nañ ko. So the issue has been, or the deadlock has been, who would be the leader, who would lead the transition? Is it a civilian or a soldier? The junta wanted a soldier. Of course, the opposition and ECOWAS said no, civilian have to rule. And talks has been made, but apparently no breakthrough. But finally, a former defense minister, someone who worked with the late President Moussa Traore, who is termed as also a dictator, or a former dictator, and he was one time a defense minister of the ousted President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita. So is this, do you think finally ECOWAS would listen and give them a chance to allow him to continue and say and further engage them on what way to take and give peace a chance? Maybe I don't know. What do you think?
Now I think it's important, and for the fact that the junta members are actually they want to give peace a chance, and they want to give people what they really desire. It's a step in the right direction, because Mali, in the sub-region, not even Mali, Amadou, sub-region, but have so many conflicts, especially when it comes to who will rule. Will the junta rule? Will the civilians rule? And all that. Mu nekk loo xam ne daal dafa am solo torop Amadou. Waaye fu mu nekk nii lii lañ nekk di séntu woon si Mali, coup bi def na. Fu mu nekk nii place nañ sanctions te man doon seetaan sa on France 24 last week. Civilians di ñaax the ECOWAS community to remove the sanctions that they place on Mali, because it is really affecting the citizens. And te xam nañ ne Mali is a very poor country. I mean, just like any other West African country, it is very poor. So as a result, sanctions being for place dafa affect the citizens directly. But now that they have come to terms, you might peace a chance, you might a civilian to rule for 18 months. I think that is welcoming news, Amadou. 18 months from there, then they can move on and then decide who to rule them for the next 5 years or so. I think lolu nono dal mo gana am solo fum nekani ante the junta members also, the steps they have taken, it shows that sometimes when you have country at heart, is very important. So then it's an interest rek lañ topone, dañ pour ñu jox the civilians a chance or peace a chance, it will be very, very difficult because ñoom ñoo nekkoon at the help
it was a civilian more in the
affairs,
yeah, absolutely. xëy na loolu moo tamit ñoom ñu seet and to be honest, boo seetee ñu bëri ñu ngi wax ne they were very open to dialogue and discussions. They engaged the opposition, main opposition parties, the M5 movement, and of course they also engaged ECOWAS. The junta leader traveled to Ghana, they discussed, but apparently he could not make a decision at that level. He did not agree to their demands, so he had to come back again, talk to his colleagues, and then see a way to go. So apparently it was a very tense situation, but whilst discussions are going on here and there, finally they have gotten to a stage whereby they have agreed to appoint somebody who have worked with the former president. And also he got more knowledge about the country, because he worked with the former two presidents, the ousted of course Ibrahim Boubacar Keita and the late Moussa Traoré, and I think he could be allowed maybe to lead for this 18-month transition and then see what happens, probably, and then that would set the pace for a good
good governance, rule of law,
and exactly
democracy, peace. Let them just give peace a chance.
I think so.
Because what happen Mali, it will directly or indirectly affect the sub-region.
Those are the concerns that ECOWAS
exactly
have,
so let them give peace a chance, and then new whole development be move forward. That is lolu rek mo gana am solo.
All right,
Africans should take ownership of their own destiny.
Okay, and we would be closely monitoring. You said ECOWAS, but the action and we will see. We'll move on. Finally, we would do away with politics for now, for now, and of course, and talk about World Cleanup Day, because that's also another important issue to talk about, because World Cleanup Day is marked on September 19 this year, an annual global social action program aimed at combating the global solid waste problem, including the problems of marine debris. Several youth groups in the Gambia tasked themselves to clean up some public places and beaches around the Atlantic Ocean. Now, for more details of that, we go with this report by Ibrahim KB Shanko.
Youths in Gunjur Medina Salam on Saturday observed World Cleanup Day by cleaning the Gunjur beach situated 39 kilometers southwest of the Gambian capital, Banjul. Modu Jonga, the Chief Executive Officer of the Brikama Area Council, hailed the Balaba Foundation Group for cleaning the Gunjur beach. Jonga said his council has already set up a strategic plan to combat the waste crisis within the West Coast region.
We recently developed a 5-year strategic plan, 2020 to 2024. And one of our key strategic priorities is to ensure a clean and a safe environment. Of course, the biggest fall part of the environment. And we are also committed to ensuring that we adapt to climate change initiative and adaptation.
Madam Velma, a UK citizen residing in Gunjur Medina Salam, who participated in the cleanup, said a clean beach is important for both human and marine life. Velma also calls for support for the foundation beyond the cleanup.
It's very important to have the beach available to all residents, and also it's an eco-village. So a lot of people come here to stay for that eco experience. And I think for the beach to be clean, it's important, and also for the animals or the fishes in the sea, it's important. There's a lot of plastics that we've picked up today, and I know how damaging that is for the environment. So I think it's important as a community. It's very good to see the elderly, the young, all different ages coming together to work together to clean the beach.
The Chief Executive Officer of Star GSM, Lamin Kaba, said all sorts of rubbish are thrown at the beach, which is neither good for human health nor marine life.
The dirtiness that comes from the beach is important to clean it, because all garbage is thrown into the sea. So, it is important to clean garbage that is on the shores of the beach. Children normally come to the seaside and they will be in filthiness, and that is not good for their health. This is the reason we partner with the Balaba Youth Group to clean the shores of the beach.
World Cleanup Day aims to raise awareness on mismanaged waste crisis and to mobilize all spheres of society to participate in cleanup actions. Individuals, government, corporations and organizations are all encouraged to take part in cleanups and to find solutions to tackle indiscriminate waste dumping. For iAfrica TV, I am Ibrahim Kebi Songo.
All right, thank you very much for that report there, Ibrahim. Kebi Sonko, well, of course, World Cleanup Day also celebrated in the Gambia by youth groups. Now they went to the beaches and other public places. Of course, clean fofu nono. Gis nga beach bi nu mel, and it's really something I think it has been a big concern. Climate and whatever, marine bi ak yu mel nonu, xalé dañ fa dem comme niñ ko waxé. So they took the initiative ñu dem foofu noonu pour seetal foofu so mu nekk li nga xamante ne mooy lu am solo ci gàttal rek tey ban jàngat nga ci am ñu gis ne àdduna bi yëpp ñu ngi def taxaw seetlu seet ne dañu war a seetaat yenn ci plate yi pour ñu seetal ko mel ni comme picc si nit ñi fu ñëw daje ak yu mel noonu pour tamit mu yaxanal suñu dundin ak yu mel noonu loolu tamit day am solo tey nga def ci boo see def jàngat rek ci gàttal loolu lan nga ñoo indil.
Well, Amadou, am na solo beaches yi fu mu nekk nii especially at this crucial time because next month hopefully the tourism season bi dafa ubbi te su ubbee tamit xam naa ne some of these restrictions on beaches and other places dañ ko government will ease it in order to attract more tourists to come into the country. That is we are hopeful that will happen. So pour prepare clean up beaches, for now, I think it's very important during this COVID-19 also. I mean, it's cleanliness is next to godliness, as they say. So it's very important pour you clean suñ beaches, you make sure you protect suñ species, you faneka fishy and other this thing because some of these waste is so toxic that so the medicine of harm some of these species that are living in the water.
Indeed.
So mota hi dafa am solo torop pour ñu make it a priority. Always ñu make sure suñ beaches ñu ngi clean. Let us not just clean it because it is World Cleanup Day, but let us be doing it. Let these initiatives continue always. You make sure that you continue. You see it as a sense of nationalism, putting you def this kind of things. Let us not just hard like day bi su happen okay li tay mo nekka li nañ ko def rek su jeex na ku nekka dem na xam nga fi always dama dee wax ne then they come up with very good initiatives, but sustainability is always the problem in the Gambia. Danga just start a program or initiative, ñi yep welcome ko. It is a very appreciate ko. It is very good, and welcoming. But 1 week or 1 month down the line, that initiative is dead. Ñi duñ fa dee commit and all that.
Basic law.
I think that is what
Gambia law is just a 1 week law.
Impeding. I think that is what is impeding our development really because we dañoo start suñ luwa yi ñu enact a bill wala a law ñu ne it's a very good one ñi yem ñu ngi ko welcome or government def dara or philanthropy everybody it's welcoming it and everything, but 1 week down the line it is dead and buried. Like you don't even get to hear it. So I mean, anyway, I think that should really change.
Okay, thank you very much, Julden Jaiswara, who does very excellent analysis on this very important matters we're talking about today. We started with matters of the National Assembly, and as we all look forward to today's session, I know we will of course can't wait to see what's going to happen today as well. We also talked about Mali and of course end up with the World Cleanup Day, and that will do it for now and for today on this edition of the Good Morning Africa. But stick around with us. We are just taking a short break and come back with the of course stories making headlines with the on the newspapers today, and then we will give you some of the stories and all that. So we take a short break and come back shortly. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Star GSM fele promotion bana fena molie minul be mararing tanko bundala Gambia banko kanjang minu buko policeol armed forceol immigration customs anil lanjurtol datalar bala keta smartphone la minka sannu wini woro wala sang wini woro doma isa soto minka sannu wini woro sang wini lu minka sannu wini lu sang wini nani manda smartphone doma simple phone fanan minul kasannu kemelula sang kemenani talulu milbe kemenani talulu sang keme sabatalulu ning original techno simple phone minu kasannu keme konontola sang keme woro wala isa soto mobile ambulance dum keme woro domma star GSM e tableto soto le pro dinningol wuli kilin keme sey domma isa soto nyin tabletol minu ka sim card uta wili fula keme saba isa soto HD universal remote fanam bijele flat screenol mini yalon ko la receiver be konole 42 lombang wala 43 inches isi soto no $4,999 wala $8,999 star GSM manda wodom mala ngani original face mask sol sotole minsal tanka coronavirus sotola nga air freshenal fanan sotole pour alla sabati dinkiral aning official nyim bala muran tulol fanan bijele nyim flash couple ka bonali america alse muna fangala la official do wara la sabati dinkiral pour jikando wala jisuma anda se sambano tilo mume ngani designer spray fanan sotale min sero ka tarafengo bala fo montoro wati mwanni nali andi botanam france le anin dubai isina jibe no na bumbato min fele kombosila drive serekunda oje johnson nyati lingol wala nanyun kunkilim bitikol min fele talindi marseto anin tabo koto traffic light auto isen kumandino 7002494 wala 9901122 star GSM mfanankan kato dango kele puru mimbe banko sambala nyato Star GSM.
All right, welcome back. Of course, just to remind you, this is, of course, Good Morning Africa, right here on Africa TV. So if you are just joining us, thank you very much, and we are happily, of course, to have your company, this time and every other day during this time when we bring this program. But we have to say a big thank you to Star GSM. ñoom ñi nga xamante ne ñoo dooleel newspaper review bi ci li nga xamante ne mooy ci programme bi ñu fàttali rek comme ni ngeen ko gisee noonu ci of course ci screen bi ñu ngi am bagage yu ay spray ay of course bagage yu bëri flash screens ak yu mel noonu ak tamit ay ñoom jul de nga ne yenn la sax
spray flash
yooyu noonu yëpp
ñu ko doon def lu
exactly so ay satellite ay receiver ay mobile tamit ñu ngi wàññi prices for security officers and all that so you can go there and find it very affordable get it very very affordable so loolu mu nekk lu am solo su ko defee noonu la ñu daal di yegsee ci Julde Njaay soirée mu daal di ñu indil tey newspaper yi ñoom tamit lan la ñu xëyee si seen xibaar xam naa daal National Assembly moom dana si saf-saf.
National Assembly moom.
waaw.
ba léegi daal debate baa ngi continue. Standard la ñu start with this morning and ñu xool dal moo nekk seen main headlines yi and on the Standard they are saying EU US UK urge NAMS to OK bill ñoom loolu lañ ewo tey beneen bi mu ne please question woman who insulted UDP leader. And GAF creates 2 more battalions to deal with bloated ranks. And the other one is no date yet for school reopening, MOPSI. Finally, GFA party urges NAMS to put country first. These are the stories on the Standard newspaper. You quickly recall Bena or ñaar si Standard newspaper. You start with the police question woman who insulted UDP leader. On the Standard newspaper, the police spokesperson has confirmed to the Standard that officers at Kairaba police station interrogated a woman after the United Democratic Party leader Usainu Dabo lodged a complaint with them about her insulting him. We can confirm that the police at Kairaba police station received a report from the UDP leader Usainu Dabo about a lady who was insulting and abusing him in a WhatsApp audio. Superintendent Lamin Jai told the Standard. More of that on the Standard newspaper. Standard Dal Amadou ñoom ñu ngi wax ne UDP leader bi Ousainou Darboe moo lodge a complaint at the Karaba police station di wax ne benn jigéen moo ko saaga according to him on a WhatsApp audio kooku daf ko nekkoon di abuse di ko saaga ak di ko wax ñaawteef yeneen ñaawteef yoo xam ne daal moom feel na ne it's not right.
waaw saaga daal baaxut rafetut waaw ñoom jigéen bi xaw ma nu mu fa demee ak yooyu waaye lu ci munta xew waaw xam naa daal saaga moom côté bu mu munta jógee baaxut te kenn du ko rafetlu lu ñuy ñaax rek wax rek mooy na ñëpp moytandoo ko li nga xamante ne mooy ay saagante ay defante yu métti te waaw affaire yi daal neexut a wax waaye doy na waar daal te li ci gën a bari yi mel ni dañ koy gis ci Gambian politics ay saagante def ci rax te rafetul te génnul ndax ay comme soo xoolee nataal bi nii ay kilifa lañ te ñoom yëpp ay kilifa lañ waaye surtout njiitali UDP ñu nekk ci gannaawam bari nañ te kale tamit jigéen la amaana sax boo mooy tuddee amoon na jamono xëj na moom ñoom ñëpp ñoo bokkoon li nga xamante ne mooy benn mbuus xaw ma waaye rafetul daal ay saaga yu di dox diggante ay nit surtout ay kilifa war cee bokk ndax tey story bi nu mu génnee tey xale mun na ko riit mag mun na ko riit keneen ak keneen mun na ko riit saaga yi nu mu demee ak yu mel fekkee loolu yëpp ñu dexal nañ ko ci biir xale yi te riit loolu te war a xam ne ñi mu war a nekk royukaay réew mi ci nii la ñoo xool ñii lañ am yaakaar pour ñu doxal suñu réew mi te ñu dégg yenn kàddu yi ñu ngi koy waxante wala ñu ngi wax jëmale ko ci ñoom dafay doy waar waaye daal saaga daal dafa génnul te moom si boppam am na jamono bi nga xamante ne mooy honorable Darboe mu ngi doon condamné ñu koy def ñu bokk sax ci parti yam ak yu mel ne mu ngi wan ne ñëpp bàyyi saaga bi ndax baaxul te tamit rafetul ku ko def dañ ko war a condemn in totality wax ne réew mi ku ne mun ngaa far ku ne mun naa bokk fu la neex ku ne mun ngaa support ku la neex waaye na ànd ak jar ak teggin politique jarul yenn yi waaye nag politique buñ gis Gambia right now surtout ci social media bi ñu bari seen xel tey na ci te tamit nekkul li nga xamante ne mooy lu rafet war nañ cee bàyyi xel bu baax a baax di waxante yenn kàddu yi surtout ay di ci boole ay kilifa daal.
exactly
waaw definitely.
waaw xam naa ne daal anytime Amadou suñoo wax about dëkk bi national interest we should focus it on that nekkul personalities and all that. waaye fii da ngay gis ne sometimes suñoo wax about national interest you know always lu fa dee ganaara moo nekk ne personalities ñi cannot debate constructively on national issues without having to involve personalities in it te loolu I think ne dafa doy waar te du yóbbu réew kanam so ñu bàyyi xel si yooyu noonu rek Gambia ñun yëpp a ko moom ñoo ko bokka so su yaaxoo ñuñ la yaaxul su baaxee tamit ñuñ la baaxal so ñu bàyyi si loolu xel bu baax a baax ñu move on the Standard newspaper to a different story kii mu ne no date yet for school reopening.
ban newspaper nga jël léegi.
Standard newspaper
Standard ba léegi.
yeah still on the Standard no date yet for school reopening. The Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education has clarified that there has not been any decision so far as to when schools will reopen. Asked to comment on a document circulating on social media outlining the modalities of the new school year starting on October 12, Claudiana Cole said she was not aware of any such official correspondence from her ministry or any other government agency about the reopening of schools. We are trying to put in place a lot of things, including the safety and security of these schools and the pupils. We have to make sure that the environment is safe for both the teachers and the school-going children. Detail on that on the Standard newspaper. Kii daal moo nekk the Minister of Basic and Secondary Education Claudiana Cole moom mu ngi wax ne xamut any information because of recent information mun doon circulate on social media a document to wax ne school si ñu ngi war a open next month on the 12th so moom mu ngi wax ne moom yëgut loolu noonu or any other government ministry or agency about the reopening of schools mu ne ñu ngi put in place modalities pour make sure ne the safety of teachers and the students is put in place first before they can actually reopen schools.
Yeah, luñ cee wax rek mooy comme moom wax na ci li ma cee wax rek mooy moom lim wax jàpp ci lim wax moo gën jàpp ci keneen lim wax te foog naa loolu moo gën moom daal jàpp li ma wax jàpp ci lim wax moom pour man moom loolu moo gën a wóor jàpp lu keneen wax parce que moom lañ dénk yëfi jànga xale yi ak tamit wala jànga li nga xamante ne mooy jàngum xale yi ci biir réew mi ci loo xam lañ ko teg bu waxee nag moom yëgul tinul te nee na jàppaguñ benn déet school ci la war a ubbi foog naa loolu nit ñi war nañ cee mën a jàpp bu baax te tamit xaar bu boobaa bu waxee bu jotee foog naa ñoom nañ ci addu nañ ci wax lu leer leneen tamit li nga xamante ne wax na ko nee na ñu ngi waxtaan seen biir te foog naa ñun sax indi nañ ko suñ xibaar yi fii ay yoon di ci wax ñoom ñu ngi teg seen jéego yi di waxtaan di seet yan pexe la ñoo teg pour aar school si waaye ñu fay yëngu tamit jàngalekat yi ak xale yu faa dem ak yu mel noonu so basically loolu lañ ci mën a waxagum li des ñu seet lan mooy ñëw ci kanam incha allah
ñu alaat de ñu ne time jeex na xam naa ne dañoo dem voice rek ñu lii seen headlines yi ak point ñu bàyyil ñu nekk di seetaan ñu pick it from there ñu grab a copy
mun ngaa jël fu nekk benn waaw fu nekk benn rek
wow, on the Voice newspaper, ñu ne seen headlines mu ne come on guys, don't be silly. Sana Jawara sparks commotion, vets frustration on heckling MPs. Secretary General, top government technocrats take stock of government activities, and international bodies urge NAMS to vote the draft bill under revised. And Gambian musicians and coronavirus pandemic. Finally, new British High Commissioner pledges economic growth for Gambia. New Hall, one story on the Voice newspaper. New Hall, the Sana Jawara one. Come on guys, don't be silly. Sana Jawara sparks commotion, vets frustration and heckling MPs. Upper Fuladu MP Sana Jawara has told some of the MPs not to be silly as they got on his nerves during the ongoing deliberation at the National Assembly on Monday. While racing on a point of order as Fonyi Berefet's Sankum Baji shared his view on the draft constitution ahead of the much anticipated vote got real after some MPs insisted he was violating the rule. Come on guys, don't be silly, Sana Jawara said as a number of MPs interrupted him when he argued with that MPs were being allowed to get into clauses of the draft constitution when they are not allowed to do so. Sana Jawara daal moo xam naa démba dafa xawoon na mer si National Assembly bi benn député bi moo nekk Fonyi Berefet gaay seen député bi bu mu doon wax about the draft constitution si débatam bi waaye moom mu ngi wax ne kooku mu ngi dugg si loo xam ne daal bokkut àndut ak seen standing order si because they are to debate on the general merits and principles of the bill.
kon comme ni nga ko waxee rek foog naa dafa xaroon na mer ndax kàddu yum use waru kon génnutoon amaana waa mer moo ko ci yóbbu moo ko ci jiitu rek waaw waaye nag léegi dañ dee gis tensions def de arise ci National Assembly bi nekkul fii rek ak feneen ci aduna si sant yàlla ñun léegi dee gis ay buloo di jóg yeneen député yi moom léegi ay yëpp moo fa dee xew waaye loolu nekkul lu gën daal mooy nañ waxtaan ku ne nga am sa position am sa gis-gis sa arguments nga bees ko si li nga gëm ak principles yi nga xamante ne boo ko forwardee Gambien si nañ ko mën a déglu nit ñi tamit def si judgments comme ni nga ko waxee waaye daal di wax yeneen kàddu yi day xala waaw di torop surtout si adduna bi yëpp ñu ngi lay xool ay kilifa tamit ñu ngi fa su ko defee loolu day xala nekk beneen affaire waaye daal mu ngi noonu loolu foog naa ne ñëpp dégg nañ ko tamit ñu ku ne am na noo ko jàngate ak noo ko gisee waaw
am na solo National Assembly sometimes moom daf dee xaw a tànga waaye ñu bàyyi rek VOC tamit am seen own side of the story ñu move on to the Point newspaper. Fear grow over Gambia Senegal border tensions and foreign mission urges deputies to vote for the draft bill, and Dr. Tangara receives new UK High Commissioner, and finally Standard Chartered Bank welcomes new CEO Chooks Yuga. That is the Point newspaper there. Xam naa ne daal time bi jaamu nañu Amadou. Unfortunately, we could not go into detail on the stories on the Point newspaper.
Comme ni ñu koy waxee rek for more details on that.
Waaw
nañu ut Point newspaper and other stories as to newspapers as well. Su ko defee ñu gërëm la bu baax sant la ci taxawaay bi amatina solo te nag namm nañ bu baax sa xarit bi Modou Niang waaye ñu koy nuyu
moo tax maa ngi wiida
exactly waaw ñu ngi ko nuyu bu baax di ko ñaanal jàmm waaye naka noonu ñun yëpp tamit incha allah julde ñu jox gaay rendez-vous suba for the midweek edition incha allah ñu dellu ci hope by before tomorrow balaa ñu fay ñëw fekk yëf yi sotti ci National Assembly bi ndax dina jàlla du jàlla amaana tey dina leer coow li bari na nag lool waaye daal mu ngi noonu ngeen kal ko rek ci Africa TV comme démb ak yeneen bés yi yëpp incha allah lu ci munta xew lu ci munta ruusee dina fi jàlla bu baax a baax waaw
jërëjëf Amadou di nuyu suma xarit bi tamit Modou Niang di ko ñaanal jàmm ak of course ñu nekk di seetaan saa su ne rek si Good Morning Africa programme bi di leen wax jërë ngeen jëf si safo bi si ànd bi ak si lal kolute bi
waaw jërëjëf
taayu maa ngi si wolof yi de
kay noonu la de
jërë ngeen jëf comme Amadou
waaw bu ko bàyyee gaay daal waaw nay saf rek
waaw
jërëjëf
ba suba inshallah to another edition of the Good Morning Africa program. Do follow the rest of our programs.
Gërëm ko santago bu baax su ko defee mbokkay mu ngi noonu fii la ñoo yemandi ak yéen tey ci jotaay ji la Good Morning Africa comme ni ñu koy defee saa su ne bu waxtu bi jotee ñu ñëw ñu diktal leen li nga xamante ne mooy suñuy xibaar ñu waxtaane ko naka noonu tamit indi leen newspaper si lan la ñu xëyee si seen xibaar ak tamit ñu waxtaane xew-xew jamono lu jamono di laaj ñu indi leen ko ñu waxtaane ko bu baax yéen tamit ngeen am ci wàll bu baax a baax si noonu lañ leen di joxe dig daje ëllëg si yàlla àndee incha allah ñu dellusiwaat ci beneen édition kon ni ñu koy baax ñu yaatal waxtaan bi waaye laataa loolu ñu ñaanal leen jàmm waaye tamit ngeen continuer di wéy di ànd ak Africa TV suñu ay plateforme waaye tamit ci lépp li nga xamante ne ruusee na si National Assembly bi incha allah da ngeen ko mën a topp fii comme ni ngeen ko baaxoo di defee jërë ngeen jëfati jox leen rendez-vous suba incha allah have a very pleasant afternoon bye bye.
si ñëw bi nga ñëw seet si suma tabax gi kontaan naa ci trop maa gën a kontaan bi ma ñëwee fekk sa tabax bi toll fii waaye nag man kontaanuma ci sama kër gi man. lu xew ndax umpale wuloon ne ñoo bokkoon nekk Europe. dëgg la jamono yu ñu nekkee foofu yëpp man ak yow maa ngi am benn